friend Franco Terrazzano of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, who has just filed the lawsuit. Franco, congratulations and thank you. It's actually tough to take on a big Goliath, but you guys are the right people to do it. Tell us about your lawsuit. What's it for? When did you file it? How can we help?
Well, so we just filed it on Friday. Our lawyers did, right? So we wanted to know how much in bonuses President of the CBC, Catherine Tait, and the other senior executives are taking in bonuses, right? Because this is a matter of principle. Taxpayers pay more than $1 billion every single year to fund the CBC, so we are owed transparency from the state broadcaster. But not only that, the CBC is required to follow the access to information laws, but at least in this case, they're blatantly breaking the rules by keeping this information from taxpayers. And that's why we filed a legal challenge with the Information Commissioner to force the CBC to come clean with taxpayers and tell taxpayers how much in bonuses their President Tait is taking, along with the other senior executives.
That's a very smart way to do that. We've done that before. Instead of going straight to federal court, you go to the information officer who has some court-like powers, if I'm not mistaken. They can order better and further disclosure. Am I right in that?
Well, and Ezra, we've also used this before, right? Remember when somebody, who was it, stayed in the $6,000 per night hotel room during the Queen's funeral in London? Remember when the Trudeau government wouldn't confess who it was? Well, we also filed a legal challenge then with the Information Commissioner. And when the Prime Minister's office knew that they were going to lose, they finally fessed up and admitted that it was Trudeau who stayed in the $6,000 per night hotel room. So we are going to look for the exact same type of results, in the sense that we want to make the CBC finally come clean with taxpayers and tell us how much in bonuses is Catherine Tait taken? How much in bonuses paid for by the taxpayers are their senior executives taking?
Yeah, good for you. And you know, I'm glad you're doing this. I think there's something really creepy about people who work for the federal government getting tax money, who keep a secret how much they're paid. There is no national security reason for this. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy. In fact, many provinces, for example, have something called a sunshine list, where everyone who makes over, for example, $100,000, it's disclosed. If doctors or police officers or even teachers have to disclose how much they get from the taxpayer, surely the bossy CEO of the state broadcaster can answer that question too.
And you know what's even worse than all of this, Ezra? The fact that the CBC confirmed to our lawyer that they have the records on the bonuses being paid out to the senior executives. So they have the numbers. They are just stonewalling the release of the information to the public, to the taxpayers who are paying their salary. Not only that, Ezra, but you'll remember that the CTF got another access to information request from the CBC showing that it handed out $15 million in bonuses in 2023 to 1,100 staffers. So the CBC apparently was fine to release the bonus amounts for its 1,100 staffers, but Tait doesn't want the public to know about how much in bonuses, taxpayer-funded bonuses, she's taken from us Canadians, along with the other senior executives. So that's why we filed the information, or the challenge with the Information Commissioner, to drag this information into the light.
You know what? I think you've got a good shot at it. I have another theory. I mean, of course, the CBC wants everyone else to be accountable, but not themselves. They wouldn't accept this kind of access to information stonewalling from other agencies. It's incredible how they use it for themselves. But here's my theory, Franco. I think that Catherine Tait has a personal reason for this too. Not just she doesn't want people to know how much money she's making at our expense, but I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you do. She went to Parliament and lied through her teeth. She said, oh, no, we don't do bonuses here. You don't understand. Here's a flashback. Let me play for you a clip of her. I don't know if she was under oath, but it's not a good idea to perjure yourself when you're before Parliament, which is actually a kind of court. If you can believe it, Parliament is a kind of a court when they're examining you, and you better not lie. Here's Catherine Tait telling an obvious porky.
It is not my decision to award performance pay. It is, in fact, the decision of the board of directors, and that decision comes at the end of the fiscal year. We have another 2 months before we reach the end of the fiscal year. And as I have also said in public, everything is on the table. So we will see at the end of fiscal year, based on results and where we are financially.
So as the CEO, you do not make the decision. You have no say in whether or not bonuses are granted.
All of the management team measures and analyzes our results on an annual basis, which are published very clearly in our
CEO,
in the quarterly
you have no
reports.
say in whether or not bonuses are given.
All of the management team presents to the board of directors the results of our year against KPIs, key performance indicators that have been tracked throughout the year. And based on the analysis and the results, the board of directors makes its decision.
It's very simple. Will she be given a bonus in 2020?
It's not my decision whether I get a bonus or not.
Franco, I think that she is worried. I mean, what a dumb idea to try and pretend that there's no bonuses. There's always been bonuses. You know she was giving herself a bonus. Why lie about it when you know you're going to get caught? I think that's another reason she's stonewalling on the records. What do you think, Franco?
Well, first of all, that word salad, right? Performance pay or at-risk pay or whatever Tate wants to call it. I mean, everyone knows that those are just other words for a bonus. But not only that, remember I just spoke about how the CBC disclosed that they handed out $15 million in taxpayer-funded bonuses to 1,100 staffers. Well, on the CBC's own records that we got from the Access to Information requests, the CBC's own records, guess what word they use? Bonus. Yeah. Bonus, bonus, bonus. So even the CBC knows that they're handing out bonuses. Of course, they're handing out bonuses. But here's the big thing, right? You have Tate, who gets more than $1 billion from taxpayers every year to fund the CBC, and Tate is still claiming that they are chronically underfunded. So at a time when they're begging for more cash, claiming that the cupboards are bare, look, in all likelihood, you have these CBC executives still handing out taxpayer-funded bonuses, and that's completely wrong.
Yeah. You know, you've done good work on this stuff before. I got to tell you that if someone is just rocking in the free market and just doing a great job, I love the idea of giving them bonuses because it's not my money. I mean, if I'm a shareholder, like look at the case of Elon Musk. There was a guy who said he wanted his compensation to be based on reaching certain performance levels. And no one thought he could possibly do it, to multiply the size of Tesla tenfold. Everyone thought he was nuts. The guy did it. So he gets the biggest bonus in history. His shareholders voted for that. None of my business, right, Franco? But if it's a taxpayer-funded position, it is my business. The crazy thing is, these folks give themselves bonuses no matter how poorly they do. Elon Musk's bonus was because he multiplied by 10 the value of his company. Catherine Tate has presided over the decline of CBC viewership. And you've also done this examination on the Bank of Canada bonuses and the CMHC, the Mortgage and Housing Corporation. These are abject failures who, if they were in the private sector, they would be fired. They wouldn't be getting bonuses. Am I right?
Ezra, totally. I mean, you mentioned the free market. Yeah, there might be some bonuses, but guess what? You do a bad job, you get a pink slip. You do a bad job, you get a pay cut, right? You do a bad job, you polish off your resume. But that's not what's happening in government, okay? In government, for those executives who are paid for by the taxpayer, all it seems they have to do is show up twice a week to work with their shoes tied, and they get a taxpayer-funded bonus, right? I'm glad you mentioned some of the other failing government agencies like the Bank of Canada and the CMHC. The Bank of Canada has one job: keep inflation low and around 2%. They completely failed at their job, no matter tens of millions in bonuses for the Bank of Canada or in recent years. Or how about the CMHC, right? According to their own website, their number one objective above all else is housing affordability. Well, newsflash, Canadians can't afford to own a home. No matter, CMHC rubber stamps tens of millions of dollars in bonuses in recent years. So here's a thing that the government should do today: end the taxpayer-funded bonuses going to these failing government agencies.